Welcome to this presentation on mixing and importing files in Audacity. Our objectives for this lesson are to edit audio within a track, import music into a track, mix voice with audio or music, add effects to track, and export the final audio file. So here we are back in Audacity. And this is the track that we left off with that recorded our own narration. I'll go ahead and play it back again so we can remember what we had. Stopping by woods on a snowy evening. Whose woods these are, I think I know. His house is in the village, though. He will not see me. Okay, let me do that line again. He will not see me stopping. And if I remember correctly, at that point, I made a mistake. So here's how we can go back and quickly fix that mistake. Up here we have some tools. If you hover over these, we have cut. That's a very handy tool. Copy, paste, trim audio, silence audio, undo. So these are basic tools. Here we can zoom in on our track. And notice we can, if we zoom in, we can get real fine on what we're looking at with any little piece of audio here. We can play back really quickly. And we can see the details in the track. I'm going to zoom back out. And now I lost my place, so I'm going to go back and find where we were. I'm going to zoom out quite a way so I can see the whole thing, and then I can play this back. Stopping by woods on a snowy evening. Whose woods these are, I think I know. His house is in the village, though. He will not see me. Okay, let me do that line again. Okay, so we know from right about here to right about here, that's where my mistake is. So really easy to see. That's what's nice about the graphic editor in Audacity. Now there's different things I can do. I can cut this. It's gone. Notice I cut it. It moves everything right back. Now let's just come here. I'll back this up a little bit. I hit my playback here. His house is in the village, though. He will not see me stopping here to watch his woods fill up with snow. Okay, it's fixed. Simple as that. So as you make mistakes, you can just go through and cut them out. Other things I could have done, I could trim the audio. Let's go ahead and undo and see what happens there. So if I come back to my undo button, notice I have that picked. What happens if I trim it? Oops, it got rid of everything but that. Okay, that's not what I wanted, but that's a nice piece to have if you're cutting a piece out. And say I wanted to cut this piece out and isolate it and reuse it, I could do that. So now if I wanted to, I could go ahead and copy that, and then I could paste it again. So I could have the same line repeat itself. So let me go ahead. As I do this, I'll probably mess this up, but let's just see what happens. If I copy it here, and let me move this over, and I can go ahead and paste. There it is. Okay, so now I have the same line. This is the line I goofed up. Now I have two goofs in my audio track, but you can see how quickly I can start to isolate things and move them around. I'm going to go ahead and undo a couple of times so that I'm back to where it was. The other thing you can do, notice this silence audio. If I hit silence, it just goes away. All right, and this is really good. Sometimes you have people who talk and they're very breathy and they do a lot of and they breathe heavy before they start a line or something. You want to take those breaths out. You can minimize very small pieces and just take that breath and silence it. So that way you lose the breath, but you don't lose the hesitation between the pieces of voice that need to be there. Because if you cut pieces out and then the lines start to run together too quickly, it doesn't sound right either. So I'm going to go ahead and undo that. Um, Ultimately what I want to do here is I'm going to cut that and let it move down. So now I got the audio where I want it. Now at the beginning here, notice if I isolate this little piece right here, if I highlight that and I play it, it only plays that little bit. If you notice, there's just a little click there. Now that might be something that I would just want to go ahead and silence and get rid of. Here's another one here. So let's play that back. I'm not sure what that is. So it doesn't sound like it belongs. So let's just go ahead and silence that and get rid of it. So that's how you can clean up an audio track nice and quick. Here's even another one. Probably a little click or a breath or something. Let me go ahead and play that back. It's me smacking my tongue against the top of my mouth. That's what that is. So let's just go ahead and silence that as well. So next I'm going to import some audio. I believe you can drag and drop right into here. So if I dragged and dropped an audio file into this, it would create a new track with my audio file in it. But my laptop doesn't have enough real estate on the screen, so I'm just going to go ahead and import it. Go to the file, import, audio. And I've already set up my file system so I know right where that file is in the spirit of time. I'm going to ignore that little message that it gave me. And it takes a few seconds to load in an audio file. And there we go. We have this nice big piece of music. Now notice it's quite a bit longer. Here's my audio, my voice recording up here. And here's the music. Obviously I got a lot more music than I need. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom out so that I can see more of this. And I'm just going to go ahead and cut the rest of this off. So I'm going to use my track tool here. And I'm going to select that. I'm going to cut that off. So now we got something reasonable to work with so you can see it better. And I'm going to go ahead and zoom back in, get this to a reasonable size that we can work with. Right about there is good to see it. And now we can see both tracks. And next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to work with my voice narration. And I want this to start pretty close to right where I want it. So I'm going to go ahead and cut that beginning off. And I'm going to come over here. I'm going to cut the end so that I can see better where the beginning and end is. It's not a big deal, but I just like to have a more compact file. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to slide this over. This is another nice tool. I can slide my audio wherever I want it. And I'm going to get this to start. So what's going to happen when I play this back, let's go ahead and play it back. It's going to start with the audio, little intro. Stopping by woods on a snowy evening. Whose woods these are, I think I know. Now you can see what's happening as the voice comes in, the music is getting louder and it's overpowering the voice. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and work with this audio track to get this music underneath of my voice so it's not so overpowering. So what I can do is I get this nice little tool here called the envelope tool. And what this does, if you see this lighter gray area in between the darker gray areas, that's my envelope. So that's my whole audio track that I can now work with and make it louder or quieter. So in this case, I'm going to go ahead and just click there and make a mark right at the beginning about where my voice starts. And it almost immediately starts getting too loud. So I'm going to make another click right here. And notice it already started to move that envelope. But what I want to do is I want to move that envelope down. And let's try it right about there and see how that sounds underneath. Let's get this closer to the beginning. Stopping by woods on a snowy evening. Whose woods these are, I think I know. Now notice it's still a little loud here. So I'm going to go back to my envelope tool. And where it starts to get a little louder, I'm just going to go ahead and bring this down even more. And you can squeeze this down to where it's nothing. But at this point, I'm trying to get it as low as possible. You just have to zoom in on it to get it to where you want it to go. So you notice I'm bringing it way down. So let's listen to that now. Stopping by woods on a snowy evening. Whose woods these are, I think I know. His house is in the village, though. He will not see me stopping here to watch his woods fill up with snow. Okay, so that's better. But my voice here seems to be a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and undo that. My voice still seems to be a little low in comparison with the music, even as low as I've got the music. So what I can do now is I can actually bring my voice up a little bit. Let's see how that sounds. Stopping by woods on a snowy evening. Whose woods these are, I think I know. His house is in the village, though. He will not see me stopping here to watch his woods fill up with snow. Okay, so that sounds a little bit better, a little better balance between the narration and the music. And then I can have my music um, come back up louder. So let's go ahead and make another envelope here. And we'll bring it here. Now we can bring our music back up. So let's see how that sounds at the end there. Watch his woods fill up with snow. Okay, so now you see how it's working. Let's go ahead and finish this off just so you get an idea how we can end something. So I have this piece of music here, and it just kind of goes on and on. So I'm gonna select from about here and just select that. I'm gonna cut it off. And last but not least, we have this little excess over here on the playback, and it just stops abruptly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a nice little fade out here. Um, Notice this is in seconds, 29, 28. So let's go for about a 3-second fade here. That 3-second fade. So now that I've selected this piece, once I got it selected, I can go up to my effects. Now these effects, you can get into playing with these things all day long. All kinds of crazy stuff. You can make yourself sound like Alvin the Chipmunk, or you can make yourself sound like Johnny Cash. Um, that's up to you to play with these as you go along. But I'm just going to add a simple fade out here. This is just a quick way to show you how to actually use an effect. Now you saw that filter just kind of gradually took this down to nothing. So now let's go ahead, go back and listen to that little piece. There you have it. So now we've gone through and we've added some uh, music to our narration. We've edited our narration, moved it around in a track, matched it up with the music. We've adjusted the levels to make it sound right, and we've added an effect. Last thing we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and export now. So let's go ahead and file. We're going to export. We're going to export the entire file. I'm going to go ahead and save it on the desktop again. And I'm going to save it as test, just like I did last time, so we can check it. I'm going to save it as a wave, and let me go ahead and click save. Now, notice it says your tracks will be mixed down to 2 stereo channels in the exported file. What it's going to do is going to take all the tracks, it's going to make them into 2 entire completely mixed tracks, and that's exactly what we want. Click OK. Again, here's all this information you can put in. Notice the music's in there, and you can add track titles. You can add whatever you want in there. And I'm going to click OK. Still went pretty quick. If you have a very long narration mixed with music and you have different instruments and extra tracks, it'll take it a lot longer to save that. Let's go ahead and minimize Audacity here, and there's my file. I'm going to go ahead and click this. I'm going to open it with QuickTime so we can play it back. And let's take a listen. Stopping by woods on a snowy evening. Whose woods these are, I think I know. His house is in the village, though. He will not see me stopping here to watch his woods fill up with snow. And there we are. So now you've learned how to get started with Audacity, and obviously there's lots more that you can do with it. But this is a good place to stop and let you try it out yourself.